Welcome to All Growth Podcast. This is your host, Alvaro Gambo, reporting live one more time. Thank you for joining us in this space and time here today. We'll be talking about all opportunities. That's right. We're talking about all opportunities, having unity within the community with my friends and guests. Today's first guest hails from New York City originally and now lives in South Florida. Has been performing stand-up for 6 years, started and is continuing and keeps going on. Now runs her own weekly show in Fort Lauderdale. Please show some love. I appreciate you coming through. Thank you for joining us.
What's up? Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Glad to see you. And our second friend, our second guest of the day, has written for several TV shows, including Wild 'N Out, the 2020 VMAs, and the 2021 Golden Globes. He also has over 60K followers on TikTok and plans to tour once things open up. Give it up for Charles McBee. Charles, thank you for joining us.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for whatever we're doing. I appreciate it.
I feel like we need more of this, more connections, more opportunities, putting each other on. And today we're going to be discussing about opportunities. How y'all feeling about the opportunities that are coming about this day and age?
I feel good. I'm not going to lie. Like I'm very, I'm always a glass half full type of person anyways. I look at any situation, no matter how good or bad the year is or whatever else is going on. And I always look at whatever, like, how can I turn this into an opportunity, whether it's an opportunity to be successful in my career or an opportunity to grow as a person. Like this whole pandemic and everything, like as terrible as it has been, and not to say that it hasn't been terrible, because it has, I want to recognize that. But at the same time, I've been able to take this downtime to really focus on myself and grow as a person, mentally, spiritually, physically, and also focus on other opportunities business-wise that I never really had the time to focus on or made the time to focus on because I was so busy running around to comedy clubs and all kind of stuff like that. Yeah, there's always an opportunity somewhere. You just got to be open to it.
My man.
I completely agree. My answer is similar. Like this pandemic has been, it's been horrible for a lot of people, lost loved ones. But on the flip side of that, it has been the greatest birth of opportunity that we could have. When something dies, it's like it's the best opportunity for stuff to grow. It's been similar for me. Like I've had time to write more. I've had time to take on projects that I wanted to take on before that I didn't have time to commit myself to. It's just been a great creative process this past year for me, as I've been able to do so many more things I've had on the back burner and stuff that I've wanted to do and grow. I've been able to do that because of the time that this created. And it also, something traumatic like this happens and on such a large scale, it almost makes a vacuum. Like you have to shift. You have to be able to make a change and shift and grow in a new way, because the land scheme just calls for it, So I think that that's been good for the people that have been willing to take it that way and use it that way.
Mm-hmm. Man, you know what? I feel like the divine works in just the right timing and just the right ways, because everything y'all said, it just sent shivers down my spine, and I already know we're already linked up, ready to talk about today's topic. I wholeheartedly agree with both of y'all. And just like the garden is a metaphor for life, we're going to go into today's topics. We're going to be starting off with planting seeds. So in introducing opportunity, which is the episode topic for today, in introducing opportunity, let's plant some little nuggets of wisdoms that we've already kind of started speaking on a little bit, and officially formulate these nuggets so we can plant them into our ground. The thing that I want to start off first by saying is that in order for us to have opportunities for prosperity, like both of y'all mentioned, in your business, in your career, in your community, in education, in politics, and whether it be in any one of those areas or upward social mobility, the first thing that needs to happen is that we need to put ourselves in that mindset, in that mind space to receive opportunities, to be able to both give opportunities and receive opportunities.
Well, one thing that's been big for me, like talking about adding things that I've been wanting to before and didn't have the time to build the habit, starting, like, you have this, success is inside out. So you have to start with yourself and come from a place of groundedness. One thing that I've been able to add as a routine is meditation. And that's been huge for me, because I'm like I've been a very anxious person. And creative people tend to be like that, to have a lot of thoughts going, like a million thoughts a minute. And that's how I've always been. Like I have trouble sleeping. I have trouble shutting my brain off. Meditation has been really helping me with that. It's just put me into a more calm space for the day. Like I do it when I wake up. I find that it's increased my focus in business, and when I'm trying to see avenues, I see them a little bit more clearly and less cluttered. I even watch TV better. Like it helps
It'd
me
be like that.
focus on the plot more because I'm like ADD, my mind's all over the place. But the meditation has been a wonderful addition to my routine. And then working out, like, a lot of artists, a lot of people, especially during this pandemic, deal with depression. Working out is just like one of the best ways you can start your day. It's like putting on rose-colored glasses. It creates those endorphins chemically, and then also just mentally, just knowing that you accomplished something that you probably didn't want to do to start out. That just gives you so much confidence and strength for the rest of the day and whatever your plans and goals are for that day, short term and long term.
That's beautiful. That's lovely to see. Meditation and weight training are like the top two, right? For you, Nia?
Yeah, man.
Definitely. Charles, how you feeling?
I definitely agree, man. On the meditation and getting your body right. That was definitely something that I was able to do during this pandemic and during like the downtime. And I was going through it, with stuff, personal stuff, and not being able to distract yourself like we normally do by going out, doing this,
Mm-hmm.
doing that. It's like you had to really sit down and like just deal with everything that was going on. And one of the things that got me through was getting my just getting my body right and eating better, and the meditation. And also for me is really finding like new passions and new and things that help me
Mm.
grow,
New hobbies, right?
and geeking out on those things, because I wasn't able to, do stand up anymore. I wasn't able to like really run around and do a bunch of stuff. I was able to really sit down and focus on kind of like my future and where I was planning for my future to go and wanted it to go, realizing like, okay, if stand up never came back, like what would I do? What does that look like? And that forced me to kind of really zero in on making sure my money's right, my, investing, and making sure that I have a great portfolio, like all that kind of stuff. I never really sat down and really was disciplined about it until now. And so now my focus is basically like making sure that I'm growing my wealth and I'm becoming financially literate, because that's not something a lot of people are taught, especially people of color. We're not taught that growing up. And
Hell
so just
yes. You can
learning
say
all of
that
that.
4 more times.
Yeah, man, it's something we're definitely not taught. And it's actually become a passion of mine now, and something that I want to pass on to the younger generations, especially younger people of color coming up, pass on that knowledge, because I always thought that it was something that was only smart people got, or only, like Harvard people knew finances and was financially literate. It's actually mad simple. Like when it's broken down to you and when you understand it, it's like, oh wait, that's how money works, or that's how wealthy people think. Like stuff like that is what I'm really passionate about now. And I've just been like completely just geeking out on just becoming financially literate and like building a community of people of who are also like that, and learning from them and growing with them. So yeah, man.
That's exactly the shit I'm on, man. You see how beautiful it is when like you have nothing to do, when you have no time to do what you're supposed to, like what you think you're supposed to do, you actually have enough time to like sit down and do what you actually have to do, where all
Right.
those problems just sit in front of your face and it's like, yo, these are your problems. Either deal with them now or you could deal with them next pandemic.
Exactly. 100%.
And the thing that I love about it is that in turn, like that's the exact same mindset I'm on, and I feel like as a collective, that's where we're at. Because the next seed I wanted to plant for us is that in opportunity, there's alchemy. If you guys don't know about alchemy, that's the creation of things. That's making nothing out of something, making something out of nothing. Like making something out of nothing is, I feel like, the Black people plight, which is like the main thing that as Americans we like try to honor ourselves as, or we try to paint ourselves as the people that made something out of nothing. In terms of full alchemy, I give it all to Black people, man, because with like we see it in every facet of the culture, with food, with entertainment, with the community, even with our ancestors. Like there's an alchemy there of making something that wasn't there before, and in that alchemy is a unleashes an entire array of opportunity. Do y'all feel like
Yeah,
little alchemists? Because like think about comedy, like we're alchemists too in that sense. But that alchemy, I feel like, could go way beyond just like crafting jokes, as opposed to like crafting jokes. We're thinking worldwide. Charles, you trying to start a little community, bro? You trying to start a little wealthy ass community there, a little family of McBees just balling out with big B's.
Oh, 100%. Like that's yo, 1000%, bro. Like that's what I'm on right now because I've always, I've always had aspirations just outside of like stand up. I'm gonna be keep it all the way a buck with you. Like I've never been that
Please
like
do.
I'm gonna be a struggling artist. If I have to live under a bridge, you know, in my 50s, like I'll do it just so I can tell jokes. Nah, bro. Like
Nah.
I was always like, listen, I want a proper like savings and and things of that nature, but I never really knew how to get to it, how to get to the bag outside of just, well, you just go to work and you collect a check. Or as a comic, it's like, well, if I book enough gigs or if I book big gigs, then maybe I'll make it that way. Or maybe somebody will give me a sitcom or something like that. But I never really knew about investing. Like that was a word that was always like,
Off in the distance, right? Like way back there.
yeah, it's just like, and like, what is that? I don't know how that works. It's too much to dive into. And now that it's broken down in its simplistic form, and I can really understand it and grasp it, and I've been able to like implement those tools and see it actually work. Now it's like, yo, I don't want to keep that for myself. Like I want my friends to know about it. I want, when I have kids, them to
That's
like
that shit, man. That's that
Damn,
shit.
you gotta
early,
teach me
like,
some shit.
Teach me some
yo,
shit too. We can
listen,
shut this whole shit down and start a class, Charles.
I need them tips, bro. I need them
listen,
tips.
man.
But
Listen,
you're so right. Like our community, our family, like I don't know if it's just the Black community, but they don't teach us that shit growing
They
up.
don't.
And not just that, they don't even teach us about money, period. Like money, you should be taught how to manage money and manage your life in school. It should be a class. Like, but it's not, they leave it up to the parents, and a lot of parents don't do that. I didn't get my first Fidelity account till I was 35 years old. And so I was like, damn, okay, I guess I got to start investing. And actually, you'll appreciate this, Chuck. Sean, from Gotham, Sean Flynn, was the first one who started to give me some knowledge about
They gave you
financial
game. That's fire.
responsibility. Like I was like, yo, will you sit down? Because he's big into it. I was like, will you sit down with me for one day, and just like have a little chat. We sat down for like a half an hour, and he like gave me my first little crash course. And the next day, my Fidelity account got some ETFs, and started to learn about it myself. But like I said, I'm in my late 30s before I even started saving. Like, it's crazy. I never was taught to save,
But they, at the same time, like, just speaking for a lot of parents, Black parents, people of color, like they didn't know. You know
They
what I
didn't,
mean?
They
Like,
didn't know.
they weren't
You
taught.
can't hold them at fault because that's the way the system was designed. They put us down. They keep us in class like just getting your life together. Fuck getting your money right. Fuck getting your career right. Just getting your life right is its own major in college. But they keep that. They keep that out. They keep you dumb. They keep us all like locked away,
right.
and they don't want you to know that. That's designed that way.
Mm.
100%. They definitely, that's one thing that I learned. And it's one thing, not to get too geeked out into it, but like with that whole, GameStop fiasco that just happened, they definitely don't want you to win. Like the
Yeah.
people in control, like they want you dumb. They want you like, wait, what do you mean you figuring out the system? Nah, stay over there. So yeah, it's a system that doesn't want certain people to come up, but it's not a system that can keep people from coming up. It's all about what you know, and it's all about your knowledge. Once you gain that knowledge, then they can't really stop you. So
Boom.
Oh, mic drop right there. With having alchemy and being in a space to receive and also to give these opportunities, something that we got to understand is that we have to start investing, right? And not just making like financial investments. We're thinking about outside the white man's paper, investments into ourselves, investments into our circle, investments into our community, and to whoever is impacted directly and indirectly by us.
Word. I want to
absolutely.
say something you said about the alchemy.
Mhm.
The first of all, that's one of my favorite books, The Alchemist. It's like
Ah,
I've read it many, many times. I heard Little Sims, this female British rapper, had a hilarious line. She was like, so many people read The Alchemist and still don't become shit. So you can have a mental game, but you also got to do some shit. You got to put in some work. And, you know, like my thing now is like, that's been a trend for me is I always did affirmations, but now I make positive affirmations of gratitude to the universe. I say, thank you that this thing exists already. And I visualize it. I also try to marshal my thoughts about what I can do to make it happen. And, you know, you have to take action.
Hell yeah, exactly. I 100% feel that. It's like faith without works is dead faith. You gotta have some action behind it. And I think the intellectual world, they call that like intellectual masturbation, where it's just like you're just getting off of the fact that you know something, as opposed to you're getting off on the fact that you're doing something.
Joe, I think it might have been Joe Rogan. I don't know. Maybe I'm giving the wrong person the credit for this, but they did a bit where they was talking about like a lot of smart people aren't smart. They're just good at memorizing other things that smart people come up with.
Yeah.
And then they just regurgitate it and so that they can come up across as smart. And it's like, no, you're not smart. You just memorize somebody else's smart shit.
I think that was Einstein.
That might have been.
I heard that. Yeah. I definitely heard that once or twice.
I mean, Joe Rogan probably said it, but I think that's an old quote. Yeah.
Yeah. It's facts. And it's facts. And it's like once you look at it in that way, it's like, are people just talking to hear themselves talk, or are they actually trying to put in that work and put in that energy to actually make the world a better place? And you can really like separate the two. Those two types of people.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like that happens to all of us because a lot of the times when people like try to give out advice, it's generally the advice they should be like taking for themselves, right? It's the advice that they're giving to themselves, but like you're the scapegoat. And I'm like, damn, as smart as we are, and as many proverbs and metaphors and analogies that we could speak in, sometimes I like try to take a step back. I'm like, hold on, I'm sounding too smart. Hopefully I'm not looking like a dumb motherfucker, like, you know, where it's like an imbalance of the two. You got to make sure one is like balancing the other. If like you're talking the talk, then you actually have to walk the walk, which is like making those investments, not just like saying you're doing something, but actually doing it.
Whenever give advice or anything like that, especially if it's on social media or anything like that, it's always something I'm doing for myself. And I'm like, if it's an affirmation for myself, I'm like, man, this is really helping me. Let me put this out because maybe somebody else is going through the same thing I'm going through, or more than likely, I'm not the only person that's felt this way. So this will help me. Let me put this out. It never comes from a place of like, I'm on top of some mountain and I'm some all-knowing being and I'm just trying to sound whatever. It's like, yo, this is what I'm going through. This helped me. Maybe this will help, you know, somebody also. Because I know that same thing works for me. I'll read something or I'll see something or somebody will speak something, you know, online or on YouTube or whatever, and I'll receive it. I'll be like, yo, that really like touched me.
Resonated really, with
like,
you.
Made me see things differently. And they don't know that. They just put it out. They could have put it out 5 years ago, but I'm just now seeing it and it's affecting me. So maybe my words could do the same for somebody else tomorrow or 10 years from now.
What are we talking about?
So it's all good. So in terms of like having an investment into opportunities, like trying to invest in opportunities, where are some areas where you've been trying to invest in opportunities for yourself, for your community, for your circle?
Well, I've been trying to reach out to more Black businesses in the area because it's a little bit more limited down here than it is in New York, surprisingly. But I have found a few, like I'm talking to one right now that is a Black-owned Black chef. He's from New York. He opened up this place in Plantation. The irony.
I know.
But it's a dope restaurant. His food's really, really good. And he has a stage. He has music there on Saturday nights. So we're in talks to do a comedy show on Friday nights. When I found him, I just kind of stumbled upon him. Having that interaction with him kind of gave me the idea like, oh, maybe I can search out some more businesses like that where we can collaborate, if they have that kind of space where we can do a comedy show. And then it's, you know, beneficial for them and it's beneficial for me as well. I have a stage and all my peoples to perform on and bring them more business and more promotion, you know.
Definitely. That's respect right there. Utmost respect for that. Like I feel like once you get into a certain space in life, your mind just naturally grows into this mindset of like a collective mindset where you're out not just having opportunity, not just seeking opportunities for yourself, but willing and able to go above and beyond to create opportunities for your community, for people outside of yourself, with no hopefully with no ego involved, in the sense of like, oh, this is coming back to me in some way, shape, or form. It's just all out of like good, kind energy and good vibes that you want to put out into the universe, because some of these opportunities that I'm putting out, that I know you both are putting out, weren't available to us in our times. So it's just better off that we're leaving spaces and places better than how we found them, in the sense of creating more opportunities for those behind us.
Well, the fact is, you'll never succeed that way if you just go out for what you can get, because the reality is we live in an interdependent society. You can't do it alone. And
better say interdependent.
you know, had to practice it a couple of times. No, but like really, like you can't. It's just not a possibility. You might get a couple of steps, but you won't get far, because it can't be just all about what you want. It's about mutual benefit and mutual respect, and everybody has to be getting something from it. So like when I go, because actually, I started out my acting career, my entertainment career that way. Like, who can get me a role? Who can get me an audition? Who can get me this, that, and it was just completely selfish. And then now in comedy, it's different because I'm a little bit more mature. I go into the opportunities that I want, looking for what can I offer them to make myself valuable to them.
Adding
because
value.
if I'm not valuable, and if I don't have anything to offer that helps them, then why work with me?
Straight up, as opposed to like years ago, I'll be upfront. I was in that mindset, and I you could feel people's energy. No one ever told me this outright, but most of the time when you come in with that energy, people are looking like, "What the fuck are you?" Like, get on my face.
Right.
And the last seed I want to plant and go directly into water and light, I think both of y'all touched on it, is that if we want to go fast, we go alone. If we want to go far, we go together. There's community in that. There's opportunity in that. I knew you would. Of course, we're gonna go so far because we have this mindset of going together, not leaving anyone behind. I'm from Florida. No child left behind. All right, I grew up with that mindset.
I didn't know you were from Florida.
Born and raised in the county of Dade.
Dade? Oh shit!
How so you not know?
We switched places.
I did. We did definitely switch places. Funny enough, actually, I started comedy 6 years ago too. So this is my 6th year. This is your 6th year. We definitely switched.
Yeah, places. We met at open mic.
Yeah, years ago. I was like, "Where's Nileja? She's in South Florida." Damn, we done traded places. Ain't this?
Yeah. Don't mind me. I'm feeding my cats, y'all.
Give it a little bit from me.
All right.
With water and light, I want us to focus on the things that we need to grow and add some water and light into our conversation today. The first piece I want to offer us is there is an opportunity in uprising today. There is an opportunity in uprising for the collective. I feel like we know the power of the collective. We know the power that the Black collective holds, and it's just time for an uprising. There's no more asking for shit. We got to start demanding for our reparations, our stimulus packages, a better way of life, a better government, demand more for our politicians. Like, there just needs to be an overall and a general uprising in these United States. Am I being too, what y'all think? Am I being too out there? Is that like, I feel like it's in the water and air.
Not out there enough. Keep going.
That's that shit I do like.
I've been on that time for a minute, man. Like, I'm tired of people. I one thing like that kind of like makes my skin crawl when I see Black people trying to appeal to white people to understand, if they could just understand where we're coming from in our struggle, then maybe they will sympathize with. Like, I'm not appealing to shit no more. If you ain't got it by now, then you just ain't gonna get it. But I'm not asking. We getting ours. We're demanding from, like you said, from our politicians. I'm not just giving my vote away to anybody. I don't care if you come into my church, and dance and do the Dougie with a piece of chicken in your hand. Like, I don't care. You're not, like, I don't care. I'm tired of symbolic gestures. I'm tired because we're a people that are very loving, and we're very forgiving, and we're very but we can be easily manipulated. It's why we don't, and not to offend. Look, I grew up in a very Christian household, so but at the same time, the reason Black people became Christians in the first place wasn't natural, right? It was indoctrinated. Like, we've been fed a lot of things, and over the years, through survival, we've kind of like ingrained ourselves into a system that wasn't built for us. Now a lot of people are really looking at it in its totality and saying, you know what? Instead of trying to go along to get along in a system that was never designed for us, it's time to rebuild the system altogether. And I think that's what this new generation of people is on. And in order to rebuild the system altogether, it's going to be a lot less begging and pleading and singing and marching, and a lot more lawsuits and demands and, you know, everything in between. So,
well, we ain't never gonna get no reparations.
Hold on. No, we can't be doing that. We speaking it out there. We putting it out there. We manifesting
sorry,
that.
man. I know these niggas.
I know,
You know,
my ancestors know him.
That's how I feel about it. Like we have to get to a point as a people where we are looking to create our own opportunities, which is what we're talking about here. And like what Chuck was talking about becoming more financially literate and like learning how to earn and grow and keep our own money and wealth. And you can't be waiting on somebody else to do that shit. You know, you can't be waiting on a handout or, you know, yeah, this is wrong. We should have got them. But, you know, I ain't trying to dwell on that right now because it might never come, you know, and especially this far along in the future. But they can't even fucking pass a third stimulus check. Like, I just don't see that happening. That's why I want our mindset to be about creating what we can with what we have and growing it.
I will say this. One thing I learned from in the corporate world, you get what you negotiate. They count on you not feeling that you are as valuable as you know you are. Like they count on that. So when they go to make you an offer, they gonna lowball you. And if you feel like, well, they ain't gonna give me what I really want, so let me just take this offer.
Let me not ask for it.
Yeah. Let me not even ask for it in the first place. Then they like, yeah, bet we counted on that. So I definitely agree that we definitely need to rely on our own, build our own. Our dollar does not stay in our community for 3 seconds. It stays in other communities for weeks and months. We definitely need to become more financially literate, more financially stable, and everything of that nature. But at the same time, I think we can do both at the same time. I think we can become more independent as a community and also demand what we're owed. Because that's the thing about reparations in particular. Like people like to paint it like they like to paint it like it is a handout or like it's like money that we want. And it's like, nah, nigga, this is money that's owed to us.
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
This ain't like come up. Like you owe this. This is blood money that's been owed, and everybody else really is paid. Even if we don't get it in our generation, I don't think we should stop demanding it, because the more you normalize it, the more like weed is legal in like 12, 13 different states now. Like 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, that was something that was like not even if a politician couldn't dream of running on supporting something like legalized marijuana and things of that nature. So if we keep demanding it and keep talking about it and normalize it, it'll happen sooner than later.
Hell yeah, I definitely believe in that. It has to, because if not, then you're gonna have every Speaker of the House from here on out walking around in kente cloth like it's all good. You want that? I don't want politicians in kente cloth. Like it looks fire, but not on my politicians.
Yo, it's so much. That's one thing that really, man, that gets me is like I hate being pandered to. I hate being kind of like the way that they handle us, the way that they've been handling the Black community for years, decades, is just like patting us on the head, talking down to us, giving us all these like sayings and quote, wearing the kente cloths, all of that kind of shit. But when it comes
wait a minute. You mean you're not happy that you don't have a Black Lives Matter way? Why are you not happy with that?
Bro, I don't know if you heard my bit. I was like, if you want to make a Black Lives Matter boulevard, you better make that shit a base for Black people. So if I'm getting chased by the police, I should be able to go to Black Lives Matter Avenue and yell, not it. Otherwise, I don't want to hear it. I don't care.
You like in Grand Theft Auto going to the safe house?
Exactly.
Going to the garage so the cops stop chasing you.
Exactly. Like I don't want to hear that shit, man. Either it's tangible things that can actually benefit Black people, or is nothing.
Man, I think it's gonna be nothing for the time being. Like I don't want that, because I feel like as an individual, as an American citizen, anything that benefits Black people benefits all of America. That's the next segment in our Water and Light. Is I feel like in terms of how we look at America, how we look at the opportunities that are given in this country, any opportunity given to any specific group of people is benefiting the entire whole. So if you finally, as American people, give Black people the chances and the resources and the equity and the opportunities that they've been ignored, that have been left out of their cycles, that have been left out of their peoples. Once you do that, I'm pretty sure like opportunity amplifies for everyone. But like we're so scared of giving Black people opportunity. Why is that so? Like we're scared of giving immigrants opportunity, people of color opportunity, women opportunities, and it's like there's a fear there that no one's talking about.
People already piggyback off of opportunities or things that Black people start. Like if when Black people start a movement, before we actually can actually get tangible things from that movement, other groups will come in and piggyback off that movement, and they'll start getting shit before the people that initially started that movement start getting it. And we never complain because we want other people to get theirs. Like we don't sit back and go, no, the LGBTQ community shouldn't get this first or what. We want everybody to get this, but don't cheat us out of what we're owed. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen that happen other times where other people will get reparations before us. Other people will benefit off of affirmative action more than we do. Other people will benefit off of other, civil rights, before we will. It's just like you see other people kind of getting theirs, but Black people, for whatever reason, is still left in the dust. And I feel like because we go back so far between, foundational Black people who were slaves and white Europeans who enslaved Black people. Like that beef, that rivalry goes back so deep. It's never been resolved. It's never been actually talked about in an actual fundamental way. So like it just keeps getting covered up, and it's never been resolved. Other groups have kind of like benefited or piggybacked off of like things that Black people were supposed to get, and we don't like trip, like we don't hate, but at the same time, it's like, yo, we're tired of getting left behind.
I think the correct term is biters. I think you're tired of the biters that have been biting your opportunities, right?
Quit biting off our struggle, yo.
Oh wow, so much there. Like our experience, the Black experience is so unique, and I agree with Charles. Is like it goes back farther, and it's more embedded, which I think makes it a little bit more difficult to shake. And each generation we grow a little bit, but a lot of people's experiences, other minority groups, if you want to call it that, their struggle has been shorter than ours. You think of gays or even Latinos coming to this country, they came after us. It's a similar struggle, but it's different. I think ours is more challenging because it's so deeply embedded. I'm thinking about this insurrection bullshit that happened, which was not the event that was so shocking to me, but the response. To me, anybody who can see that situation and how it was handled and how it played out and how little of a response there was and how they respond to Black people when we peacefully protest. If you can't see the bias now, like if you were claiming that you couldn't see it before, I still call bullshit. But if you can't see it with that situation, that insurrection, like how can you not say that this country is not biased against Black people? It's crazy to me. And I hope that situation, since nowadays everything happens on such a bigger scale and it's all televised and you see everything and there's cell phone footage, nobody that saw that cannot deny if those were Black people doing that shit, that we would have all been shot to death. Like seriously.
We all know.
The fact that didn't happen tells you everything you need to know about this country and what we're still dealing with. And it can't be ignored.
Moving on into our Water and Light, I like to talk about entrepreneurship. I know we touched about it earlier. I'm so happy that more people, Black, brown, white, specifically Black people, have this business mindset. More people owning more businesses, thankfully, as a byproduct of that, more people are starting to mind their own business, which is a great byproduct in terms of like entrepreneurship. These vehicles, these lanes that like have opened up for us now, where you can be a entrepreneur on the go, in a van, at home, with kids, single. All of these different avenues have opened up for us to be our own small business owners. At the same time, I feel like it's time on us to make those opportunities for us. Like in terms of entrepreneurship, I've known too many like entrepreneurs that have popped up within the past year, and I'm glad for each and every last one of them, honestly.
It's the wave. It's also it's funny, like when it comes to I love my people, man. When it comes to black people, like we'll do two things, right? We'll make something dope and make it cool, but we'll also run that thing into the ground, right? So
Explain
like
that.
I'm very happy that you're hearing things like people talk about things like level up, boss up, entrepreneurship. Are you a boss? I'm happy that those words are becoming prevalent in our community. At the same time, you'll hear a lot of people say those things, and we talked about this earlier. Faith without works is dead, right? You hear a
Mhm.
lot of people saying a lot of boss talk and don't know what the hell they're talking about. It just sounds cool, so they're
Hmm.
just saying shit that sound cool, and it's like, it's like, all right, I'm glad that our minds are kind of going in that direction, but we got to actually do the work and make sure that we know what we're talking about, so that we can actually see actual change within our community, and not just be saying shit because it sounds swaggy to say. So yeah, I want us to actually be entrepreneurs and not you know, just do it because, or say it because it sounds because Dame Dash made it cool.
Yo, I know exactly what you're talking about, man. Because on Rock Nation Twitter, on Rock Nation Brunch Twitter, man, it's promoting everyone to get an LLC and openly commit tax fraud. I'm like, wait, no, you don't want to
Oh,
Wesley snipe him, like.
That's exactly the type of shit that I'm talking about.
My man, listen, all you gotta do is open up a LLC, and everything you do, you pay yourself through the LLC, and the IRS don't even gotta know about it. That's it. That's it. Like,
Like,
wait.
bro, man,
Oh my God.
that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's shit like that where I'm just like y'all are really out here just saying wild shit because you don't actually like take the time to do the research and the homework so you can actually implement these things. It sounds cool. Diddy said it, Ti said it.
okay.
So this is the type of shit I'm talking about. It's like,
But
My
I'm
bad.
using swaggy as the adjective. Um,
We getting swaggy with it.
thanks to Chuck. I like that. I like that. It sounds swaggy. Um, but when it comes to entrepreneurship, like I grew up kind of lucky with that because my father was an entrepreneur. He had his own business, printing business, always had like other ventures going. So like I had my first lemonade stand, which was actually like greeting cards that I found in a box somewhere. When,
Oh, that's cute.
when I was 6 years old, I put a TV stand out there. I was selling greeting cards. And then it went on, like in college, I started doing concessions, and I would go do all of the games and stuff like that on my own. But the thing I think a lot of our people fear about being entrepreneurs is fear. Starting a new business venture, it takes an investment. It takes an investment of money, and it takes an investment of time and research, like Chuck said. You got to know what you're doing. You got to read these materials. You got to know how the tax structure works for a business. And then the investment, I think that scares a lot of Black people because we don't always have a lot of money. So to put some money in this, you don't know if you're going to get back. But it's a leap of faith. You have to be willing to make sure you have the right idea, first of all, that you're doing something that you know a lot about and that you're passionate about, you're going to care about. And then once you've made those decisions and you've done that work, you have to be willing to take that leap of faith and invest in yourself.
it's
Amen.
also
Preach and prosper. Go ahead, Charles.
it's also a change in the way you see things and the way you see money, because like you said, that's 100% facts. Like black people they hold on to money. When it comes to investing, it's a fear, and they're like, well, I ain't got that money like that and whatnot. At the same time though, I guarantee you, if you ask black people do they got money for other things, then
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden
They
they
got
start
it.
putting
They
money
got it.
everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like when it's something we want, we'll find the money to get it or to go do it. So it's also a changing the way we see things and becoming more disciplined when it comes to being financially independent. You know what I mean? And like actually putting that little bit of money away and not for me, like the way I see it's funny and it's a lot to do with the fact of just being older. But the way I see stunting is way now in my 30s, my late 30s is way different than I saw it in my 20s, right?
Oh yeah.
Like like to me, flossing, stunting, all of that is me looking at my portfolio. Like, you
Okay.
know what I mean? It's
I'm trying
like
for the house.
right.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Man.
saying? Equity. Like it ain't got nothing to do with nothing flashy, with
Word.
nothing nothing I got on my feet, nothing like that. I don't even care. We're so used to our way of being financially literate in the Black community. A lot of times it's just being up on what the newest shit is. Like
Hmm.
knowing what Balenciaga is or knowing what, for a foreign whip is, but it's not actually knowing how to invest in that company and whatnot. Yeah, I think for us, it's discipline. It's just discipline,
Straight up.
and we got the money. Look at hair care products, $1 billion industry. We don't own none of it, right? We got money for entertainment. We got money for everything else. So it's taking that money and being just more disciplined. And instead of trying to look rich, we spend a lot of our money on trying to look rich instead of trying to actually
Be
become
rich.
be rich and be
Feel
Yes.
wealthy.
rich.
Like,
Yes.
live below your means and actually do the work into becoming wealthy instead of trying to look wealthy and you ain't got no money in the
And
bank.
got $2 in their bank account.
Right.
Mhm.
How you got $1,000 purse with no money in it?
Exactly.
Yo,
But
so to
it's go ahead.
go ahead, Nileja.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it's this like totally true. Like if you're to me, one of my favorite quotes is Stephen Covey. He said, "You have to be willing to sacrifice what you want now for what you want eventually." And if
That's
you're willing
real.
to have the discipline to just buckle down now, put all your money into a business and you grow it in 10 years, you can afford those J's like it's nothing, like, but if you're trying to do that now and you're not really balling like that, you'll never have wealth. You'll always be throwing it away on disposable products,
That's a
you
gem right
know?
there. You just a clumsy queen dropping all these gems. Man, I think the one thing I want to give some water and light on. I know all of us are a bit on the older spectrum. The kids call it dripping now, so it's not swaggy, it's not saucy no more. It's dripping. But I will say that like their mindset is definitely on making sure that they have the drip on. But when we get older, when you move on to different phases of life, like Charles is mentioning, like I think it's important to make sure that your outfit isn't dripping, but that your portfolio is dripping. You want that thing soaking wet.
100%.
Straight up. Moving into our penultimate segment, we'll be talking about the weeds. Now, in every journey, in every garden, there are obstacles that we come across, and it's better to go through them in order to grow through them. So, in the weeds, we're looking at the negatives, cons, and the problems of opportunities. Like I mentioned earlier, having more people starting businesses means more people are minding their business. However, a con means that less people are actually minding their business because the biters are biting the culture at exponential rates at this point. They have nothing but free time to just bite the culture. I feel like to bite opportunities off of people that actually deserve them.
Yeah, but you know what? At this point, like I don't get mad at the biters for doing what they do. Like that's you can't if you go through life kind of like wagging your finger, going, well, that's not nice, or you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't like no. It's on us to make sure that when we create something, we own it, and to understand that ownership is equity, and to not allow yourself to be bitten. That I
Mm,
always it's always about prevention for me. It's like the
preventative measures. Okay.
yeah, the system is going to do what it do. Like I'm not. The business is business. People are going to behave how they behave. It is what it is. It's up to you to make sure that you're doing your due diligence and making sure you got all your shit together so that you can move through this system and do it in a way to where you're prosperous and you're not being taken advantage of. So that's why I'm like Nia said earlier, it's about being self-sufficient and also gaining that knowledge so that you can be aware of how to move. Is knowing how to move. It's not wagging your finger and being upset at the people, at the vultures for doing what vultures do. Like that's what they do.
Building self-sufficiency within the system. Got you.
Yeah. Well, actually, I have a question for Charles. Like, particularly being stand-up comedians, how do you recommend not being bitten?
You study. Well, I feel like when you come into the game, right? And I've heard this. I've heard musicians talk about this a lot. When you first come into the game, you're gonna be taken advantage of, right? Like it's just you don't have any real power or say so, and you're trying to get on. So in some way, shape, or form, you're probably going to be taken advantage of. That's fine. That's it. Just go. It is what it is. But you can control how much you're taking advantage of and for how long you're taking advantage of, depending on how much knowledge you know and you have about that business. So if you're going into the music business, instead of just being a rapper trying to get on, study the whole game. Study people that came before you. Study how the game works. Who's really getting the money? How the money works within that business. If it's comedy, study the whole game. Who's really getting on? Bookers, what are they really good for? Are they really necessary? Do you have to go through Comedy Central to get on, or can you put yourself on? Is it more about building your own platform on social media than it is trying to get a network deal? Like study that whole system, and then you'll be able to control who takes advantage of you and who doesn't, and how much they take advantage of you. It's just knowledge is power in everything. I used to really think that an agent, was just the end all be all, or a booker was the end all be all, until you learn the whole game and you learn what they actually do and what they actually can do for you. And so now when I sit across from whoever, an agent or booker or producer or whatever, I already know, like, I know what you can do, I know what you can't do. So you're not going to be able to sell me on you can do all these bells and whistles and do this and do that, and I know you're full of shit. You know what I mean? So to me, it's doing the homework and studying whatever your industry is. Study it to the T so you can know, you can call people on their bullshit, because they're gonna try and bullshit you. And I'm not even mad at
They'll
it,
try.
because that's what they're gonna do. It is what it is.
It's kind of their job to do it, right?
You'll know.
Right.
Great, everyone.
Excellent advice.
Solid advice. I'll take that with me. I'm stealing that one. That's okay with you, Charles.
Take it, man. Take it.
Definitely. The last weed that I want us to touch on is that, yes, we've been discussing opportunities amongst our communities and having unity. However, the weed that we have to get through is understanding that there is no one great equalizer in America. It's an amalgamation. It's a collection of everything that we've discussed. And it comes from different avenues. That, yes, there's the self, which everything you can control, which is how you apply your knowledge, how you gain knowledge. But then there's also has to be that give and take from the society, from the community that you're in, to provide these opportunities. So as much as we control what we're trying to do here, there needs to be like an ebb and flow and a give and take from society as well. It can't be just like a one-headed horse on this. It's a multi-solution, it's a multifaceted solution to a multifaceted problem, I feel like. In terms of like opportunities, like say you've done everything that you can do, and you put yourself in that right place at the right time, and then there comes that you miss the opportunity because there comes something that you couldn't control, something outside of yourself, something that like an oppressive system that came in and just say, yo, fuck your opportunity. And I know that sting, that sting, just like, it burns inside. Y'all ever felt that and like realize that, damn, there must be something more, there must be something better?
I do. Like I trust the universe. If something happens,
Amen,
and I was prepared, and that opportunity didn't go through, and I thought it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me, there's something there that I didn't see that wasn't for me. You know what I mean? Like I trust the universe in that sense that, I might have gotten involved with that deal and turned out the person I'm working with is an asshole, or turned out I was going to get taken advantage of, like Charles was talking about. Some things you can't see, and you just have to trust that your opportunities, the ones that are for you and that are going to be good for you, will work out. And all you can handle, you can't control all that outside shit. You control yourself. So the best thing to do is just stay prepared, stay ready, and keeping yourself sharp like a razor. And then opportunities will come to you, the right ones.
Amen. Steel sharpens steel, iron sharpens iron. Charles, you have anything to add to what Nileja said or your own thoughts?
Yo, man, that's pretty much on point. There will one thing I've learned is there will always be another opportunity. Like
Word.
that lie of opportunity only comes once, whatever that saying is bullshit. All right. It's not about opportunity not coming around again, but it's about, like Nia said, you being in a place of preparedness for that opportunity. So there's been times where I felt like I was prepared and it didn't pan out, and there's been times where opportunity did present itself and I wasn't prepared.
Mm,
And both situations, there's always been, it's like opportunity is like, it's like the train, it's like a bus. It's going, another one's gonna come,
another one's coming. I like that.
another one another one's gonna come. It's just a matter of, are you prepared? Are you in the proper place at the right time to be able to catch that train or that bus? Now, the downside is that if you keep lagging along, or if you procrastinate, or if you don't stay in a state of preparedness, then you're going to miss a bunch of opportunities and you could have been way further sooner. So it's like, don't be lazy or feel like, well, opportunity, Charles said opportunities always come, so I'm gonna just fuck off for the next 10 years. Like, nah, like, why not be in a state of preparedness now so that you can be further sooner, and and reap those benefits. But at the same time, beating yourself up because something didn't work out and feeling like, well, that was my own one and only opportunity. Nah, life don't work that way. There's always something else that'll come along, another door that will be open. It's just a matter of you staying prepared and keeping your mind and your third eye open to when those opportunities come.
Word.
Word. Dope facts. Damn. Thank you so much, both of y'all, for being clumsy kings and queens, just dropping all these gems and nuggets of wisdom. Now, before you leave, I like making sure you left better than how I found you. So it's time for our harvest. This is our lightning round wrap up with final thoughts. I'll be asking everyone a series of questions. We're going to go one by one and just off the top, give our own answers to everything. First and foremost, before we leave the garden, we always have to ask ourselves, what have we learned? I've learned so much. First and foremost, I've learned that I can't take this comedy business as a joke. It's fun telling jokes, yeah, but you got to treat everything you do. You got to treat yourself as a business in order for you to be able to open up yourself to all the opportunities that are waiting for you. For me specifically, Nileja, what have you learned?
What did I learn today? I learned the word swaggy.
It can't be the first time you've heard that word.
Implementing that into my vocab. Yes, I like it. Even though it's probably, like you said, it's probably old. Everything's drippy now, but I like it. I just gotta make a ring to it. Swaggy. Like, what else? I've actually learned a lot about, like, Chuck was saying, being more financially literate, and that's kind of lit a little spark in me to do a little bit more research on that, because I'm kind of at an intermediate level with that, and I would like to be an expert. And I have books here that I haven't read yet on it, so that is something that I would like to improve from this point going forward. Yeah.
Sounds good. Time to get to it. Reading books. Charles, what have you learned?
I've learned that, like you said, you definitely have to treat a lot of people, the biggest lie, and it's not even a lie, but the biggest misconception is that the people who are successful, on stage, you see them on stage and they're super successful, that's all that it is, that they're just on stage and they're great and these opportunities just come. No, they're behind the scenes
Working,
following up with people, reaching out,
mm-hmm.
asking for favor. Like, people are real good. We're real good at being too cool for school in public and acting like the opportunities just happen and we just kind of so dope. Nah, nigga, like, it's people asking for favors. It's people, trading favors and following up with people and offering, like Nia said earlier, offering their service for things. Don't let that kind of like mirage of people, just opportunities just come to people who are just kind of you're funny and you're good at what you do and things will just happen. No, it's being behind the scenes, willing and dealing, building a network, collaborating with people, doing all that stuff, being humble enough to ask for favors, ask for advice, all that stuff behind the scenes goes on, so that in front of the scenes you can look like you're just the greatest thing since sliced bread. And as far as like the financial stuff, I'm telling you, like I was not Warren Buffett. I'm not like,
Wait, you're not? The fuck?
no, I geek out. I go on YouTube and I geek out on, financial videos that is their incentive to make these videos user friendly, to dumb it down, to make it entertaining, because I'm gonna watch it because we'll watch it more. So they get their little back end from YouTube, and it's just free content and information for us. So I can send you a bunch of links of just like dope YouTubers who really break it down and actually make it enjoyable and less threatening and make it fun, so it's easier to comprehend. Because
That's fire, Charles. That's fire.
Yes, I would love that.
Make sure to CC me on that. All right. Yeah. Definitely. Moving on. What have we taken with us? I'll be taking Swaggy. No one else can take that. I'm sorry. It's over. I'll be taking Swaggy. Not only that, I'll be taking with me the mindset of being able to understand that it's not just, you're not just a one of one. Yeah, we are a one of one, but in understanding opportunity, like opportunity comes to those who give it out. So finding more ways to be able to give out opportunities will be helpful in bringing those opportunities back to you. It's karma. It's the law of attraction, essentially. Charles, what are you taking with you?
I'm taking this whole garden thing with me, man. I really like what you got going on here. It's
thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it.
Growth and gardening. I like it. I'll use it as a metaphor for all things going on.
As you should. Nileja, what are you taking with you?
Yeah, it is a really nice metaphor. I like that. I'm taking with me just kind of reiterating all of the things that I've kind of been circling my head for this past year during this pandemic. Like sitting here speaking with you guys has kind of reinforced a lot of it for me, which yes. I've enjoyed.
Definitely. Fantastic. I'm so happy y'all here, man. What have we gained? The penultimate question, what have we gained here in our harvest and in the garden? Well, I've gained a deeper appreciation and understanding in the opportunities and unity and community. This is just, I reached out to the both of y'all because I happen to like your artistry. I happen to like your craft. And I did not know that this would be the end result to that. There's a huge list of comics that I've been reaching out to. And the fact that both of y'all sit down here, I am taking with me that I've gained a deeper appreciation for the divine. Everything happens in its right timing, and just opening ourselves up to be able to say you can gain at any time in every way. Now, Nileja, what have you gained in this moment, in this time?
I'm running out of things that I gained, Elmo.
Never. We are never in lack.
Wait, what else did I learn? No, I really, this also has like reinforced to me like how the universe works, man, because the fact that me and Charles both got on this one today together is crazy, man. We knew each other for years at Gotham. I love his comedy. And I was supposed to do, I don't know if you noticed, Chuck, I was supposed to do February 5th podcast with Alvaro, and that didn't work out.
Oh,
and
nice.
Just randomly wound up picking this date. He didn't tell me you were on it. I just saw your name in the email. So the universe works in awesome ways, and I've gained a further appreciation of that.
Definitely. Charles, what have you gained?
Same. I'm on piggyback off of Nia. Appreciation how the universe works, man. It was meant to be.
It definitely is meant to be. I had so many comics say scheduling conflict or dropped out, whatever, and just release, surrender, submit, let go, however you want to describe it. Just let the universe and the divine God and source and spirit work out however they need to work themselves out. The last question in our harvest before you go is, how have we grown? In the past hour, if you have a lack of scarcity mindset, you won't be able to think that you've grown in an hour, or however much time you spend on a given subject. But in this hour, I've grown in understanding that there's some biters out there. There are some biters out there. You can't let them bite. You got to make sure you have preventative measures. Get you some mosquito repellent for the biters. Make sure that you chain them up, that they're on their leash in the doghouse, outside, whatever you got to do to make sure your biters don't bite. Keep going with those preventative measures. And Nileja, how have you grown?
How have I grown? Well, I feel like anytime I have a meeting of minds with people, I feel growth from that. Especially when it's positive, when it's with people that you like. and you're talking about things that matter, it kind of just pushes us all in that direction. So all three of us going to leave here now with a stronger notion of the what you laid out for us, and being able to grow and help our community and improve our opportunities and all of these things. We now have that reinforced in our mindset.
That's love. Thank you. Charles, how have you grown?
Man, I've grown just communicating with y'all, man. It's sometimes you'll kind of like feel like you're in a vacuum, especially during this downtime, and you're just kind of like, you might be reading stuff, or you might be watching things, or just kind of like on your own, just coming up with ideas and encouraging yourself and trying to figure things out. But like Nia said, whenever you can kind of like, we're meant to be a tribal people, you know what I mean?
We
So
are.
we're meant to like be in a community, and so being able to vibe with like-minded people, you can't help but to grow mentally, spiritually, and even physically. Because like Nia got me back, I'm gonna make sure I go and do my reps in, because I ain't get my reps
Hell
in.
yes.
So,
Listen, man, that's the focus here at All Growth. I'm so happy that y'all have grown as well. Here at All Growth, we focus on growth for your body, heart, mind, and soul. So I'm glad that you got one in each of those areas. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart. I humbly thank you for joining us in this space and time. I thank you, the audience, for joining us in this space and time. Please remember to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you're listening to us. Catch us wherever podcasts are available. And yeah, definitely thank you. That about wraps it up for us here. Thank you guys so much for joining us in this space and time. I hope to catch y'all out here in after post-COVID, post-vaccines, post-Zombieland, however we're gonna look out to catch up on y'all later on. Any final thoughts before we head out?
It was good to see both of you guys. Haven't seen you in years, and I really enjoyed this. Nice chopping it up.
listen, till we can till I'm able to follow Nia, open for her on when she's headlining or whatever. Like
No, I'm open
I'm
for
with
you.
that. I'll be the host. I'm with that.
There
Nileja,
we go.
where can the audience find you? Let them know how they can find you. Where can they follow you at?
Go to my website, nilejacomedian.com. It's the same on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Nileja Comedian. In website, you can see upcoming shows and stuff like that. I'm in South Florida. So if you're down here, come check a bitch out.
Hey, Charles, where can they find you at? Where can everyone follow you at?
Yo, just follow me at Charles McBee, everything at Charles McBee. I'll just be doing my thing.
Hey, that's good to see. Good to hear. Thank you all again for joining us in this space and time. We'll see y'all in the next time. In the meantime and in between time, keep growing, keep glowing, keep going.